Hi, aloha. First I want to apologize, or at least explain, because we paused for a few days because we wanted to get these recordings on all the different platforms of social media. So now that's done and I can start recording again. And I would say that I am surprised how much I missed getting up and recording every day. So here we go again. Thank you for your patience. So I want to talk to you about adoption, because my husband and I adopted or took permanent guardianship of 17 kids. And I know that there's much interest in adoption because still, 20 years later, I get calls at least once a week. What do you think about adoption? Is it a good thing? Should I adopt? Or I wonder what's going on with my adopted kid and I don't know how to take care of them. So here we are with me wanting to offer the wisdom that my children taught me. I want to tell you what I learned, not just so that these kids survive, but so that they actually thrive. And so I'll start with the fact that my doctors had told me that I should never get pregnant because of my disability, that I would probably die. And, they're always saying that, but I cried for maybe 10 minutes because everybody's taught that they should want children, that that's the American dream. But in fact, my life was so rich, so wonderful. And I just got to the point where I felt like we don't need kids. There are lots of friends who need help with their kids, and there's so many different ways to love children, and we don't need to have our own children. And so I just came to peace and went on with making plans for my life. And maybe a few years later, I was shocked to wake up one morning from a dream. And the dream repeated itself several times, and that almost never happens to me. And so in the dream, and I'll just tell you right now that race is not the issue, but I'm just reporting the dream as it happened. In the dream, there's a 6-foot gorgeous black man, except he was a baby. And he opens the door, we're in bed, I'm dreaming. He opens the door, comes into our bedroom, pads across the floor in his bare feet, and he's wearing his diaper, but he's a baby. And he just looks down at me and touches me on the head and says, "Mom?" I said, "Yeah?" He said, "I want you to be my mom." And so I said, "Okay." What else would you do at that point? So I woke my husband up and told him all about it, and we just thought, I wonder what that means. I know what my friends thought it meant, which was that I was so disabled, and my friends thought I was just delusional and couldn't handle the fact that I couldn't have children. But anyway, it got stronger and stronger until I was buying baby clothes, and then I was buying baby furniture and just ignoring what everybody thought about what I was going through. And my husband finally said, "You know what? If this feeling doesn't go away by the end of the summer, let's just go to a meeting at the county adoption agency." So we did. We went to one of those random meetings where you just go in to get information. And my husband pushed me in my wheelchair. I had my oxygen mask on. I couldn't hold my head up, so my husband was holding my head up because those muscles didn't work. And so we sat down and we went around, we introduced ourselves. I said, "I don't know what to say, but I want to tell you my dream." The head of the department, she was so amazing, and she said, "Well, we don't let white couples have black kids anymore because the interracial thing is just not working." This is like 35 years ago, 40 years ago. And so I said, "Yeah, I totally understand that, but I'm just repeating the dream." And so she said, aren't you sick? And I said, yeah, the doctors think I'm dying, but I don't think I am. And this feeling is so strong, I just want to see what happens, because this kind of impulse just doesn't happen randomly. And so she said very nicely, well, you know, given the circumstances of the racial question and the fact that you are so disabled, and I don't know that you could take care of a baby. I said, I totally understand, but I feel like it's meant to happen. So she said, well, you know, don't call us, and we probably won't even call you. And 3 months later, we got the phone call. I got the phone call. And she said, I don't understand this. This makes no sense. But there is a baby that matches your dream exactly. And nobody else wants him because he's fetal drug and he's so brain injured. And she said, and by the way, he was born on your husband's birthday. And immediately I got that there must be this 9-month period where there's preparation, not just of the body when you're actually pregnant, but preparation of the mind and of the spirit to get ready for this. So we ended up getting this amazing child. He was 2 months old, and we got him exactly 9 months from the day I had felt pregnant. So tomorrow, I'll tell you so much more, because it was just one miracle after another. Thank you, sweetheart.